I am recording this video in order to avoid dealing with the dissolution of my life around me. While I was on my lunch break today at work, I gave GojiFan93's review of version 0.1.5 of the Godzilla Save the Earth Melee demo a listen, because I have not had the time on my own to dig through all of my stuff in the various totes scattered about the house, and thus I have not really had any time to dedicate to playthrough of the version 0.1.5 demo for Save the Earth Melee. If you cannot tell, I have not planned this out super duper well, but I do wish to go over many of the modifications / changes that have been made to the Godzilla Save the Earth Melee monster manual at this time. I am presently recording this video that you are watching, hopefully, on March 24th, 2025 at approximately 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, standard disclaimer, by the time you watch this, the viewer, it is likely that changes have been made to the manual versus what will be shown in this video. But, as I have said in the past, part of the reason why I am even covering Godzilla Save the Earth Melee in the fashion that I am is explicitly so that all of these changes and modifications are documented somewhere on the internet. I do not know who else has so thoroughly documented all of the various versions and modifications made to the Godzilla Save the Earth Melee monster manual, aside from myself. So, if you wish to see what the older versions of many of these monster manuals looks like, in all likelihood, if you check out my Godzilla Save the Earth Melee specific playlist, you will find what they used to look like. I have to be honest, much of the stuff that I am going to cover in this video makes me feel rather silly, because at the time of recording and definitely at the time of release of this video, most of the following will not have yet released on this channel yet, but I repurposed and repackaged a lot of those old monster manual videos in the form of YouTube shorts, and I'm not going to go back and modify those videos based on the changes that have been made for this particular video, but the fact remains, my channel is a sort of archive for all of this information. Okay, let's get right into it. What exactly has changed? Here on the main character select screen that you are greeted with upon opening the monster manual, you can see that the Gigan Showa / Gigan 1972 character select icon, if we deign to refer to it as such, has been updated. I will get into the specifics of that in due time. Then next up, Godzilla Showa as well as Anguirus 1968 have received updated icons for the character select screen. And finally, MOGUERA, specifically the Heisei MOGUERA, also has an updated character select icon. For Showa Gigan in specific, you can see here the updated primary image for this version of Gigan. It looks pretty much the same as it used to, but it now uses the updated model for Showa Gigan. And as we can see here on the second page of the Showa Gigan monster manual, the blank gray in progress remodel of Gigan has been completely replaced with the updated retextured new model for Showa Gigan. Then on page 3 of the monster manual, we are greeted with a further updated roster of alternative appearances. I covered a lot of this in my Godzilla Save the Earth Melee The Aftermath of Stemmus video, but since I made that video, it looks like the black and red alternate color, alternate skin has been fixed / revised. It was not loading in that version of the monster manual, so kudos to Nasty Soft for fixing that. And now the Burning Star recolor has been updated to a recolor icon for the new model of Showa Gigan. It is worth noting that the communist rendition of Gigan, as well as the Kaiju Daikasen alt of of Gigan, seen in Column 2, Row 1, and Column 2, Row 2, respectively, still retain, as of the time of recording this very sentence that I utter, the old, new Godzilla Save the Earth Melee model, i.e. the model that was used for Gigan in Save the Earth Melee prior to the completion of, reveal of, and implementation of the quote-unquote new Showa Gigan model. I do not anticipate that Gigan will get another remodel slash retexture for this project, but this information could always change on a dime. I do believe that the current model for Gigan, seen here for the majority of these alternate recolors, as well as the default skin for Showa Gigan, is present and usable in the version 0.1.5 demo for Godzilla Save the Earth Melee. Like I said, unfortunately, I have not had a ton of time by which I could justifiably kick back and just play version 0.1.5, but I did mention his video earlier on in this one. I would highly recommend checking out GojiFan93's channel. He does plan on covering Godzilla Save the Earth Melee a lot more in the future. Chris, as he is named, probably does not know that I, Henry, exist, but show Chris some love and absorb his own coverage of Godzilla Save the Earth Melee, because unlike me, he actually is in the ear of the Nasty Soft dev team, so it is likely that he will cover things before I am even capable of covering those things. As far as I am aware, he is also not completely banished from the Nasty Soft Godzilla Save the Earth Melee Discord server, as I am. So if you only watch this channel for Godzilla Save the Earth Melee, that might be worth your time. Anyway, to wrap this up, there are no other skins presently listed for the Showa / 1972 Gigan. I covered Gigan in the Godzilla Save the Earth Melee STEMmas video, but I also covered Gigan and all of the Godzilla Trading Battle monsters in a non-Godzilla Save the Earth Melee based context a long time ago, so there's not much more to say about this than all of that. I think I mentioned this already in that previous video, but they have updated all of the individual renders for the Final Wars / Millennium era Gigan character. As I said long ago in that original Showa Gigan Final Wars Gigan combined monster manual video, I really think that they ought change the rage move for each of the individual modified Gigan alternate appearances, but considering I am not a developer on this project, I do not know how much extra work that would be, so I just want to say all of these recolors look excellent. You can definitely tell that the cadaver skin for Millennium Gigan is not the mummified Gigan based on the icon seen here. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not think Ashen was originally in this monster manual, nor do I remember the Astro recolor. I believe those have been added at some point. I would not be surprised. Find it odd that Ashen is in mostly lowercase letters, whereas all of the other skins are in capital letters only. Also, before I move on, I realize that technically the monster manual designate this as the Millennium era version of Gigan. Unfortunately, to me, this is just the Final Wars version of Gigan, so if you ever hear me say Final Wars Gigan, that's because I have the strongest association with this set of designs with that version of the character. I know this version of Gigan has technically shown up in a multitude of Toho created short films, but I unfortunately have not watched any of them, so I do not have a particularly strong association with this set of designs with the Millennium era in general. This is not really an update per se, but whether I have said this before or not, I find it very odd that within this monster manual, there is no indication that Nasty Soft plans on including either either the Godzilla Save the Earth vanilla version of Kiryu / Mechagodzilla 3 as a skin, but there is also no indication of any plans for including the Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee version of this character. There is another character for which I find this rather odd, and I will probably cover that character in this video just to put it out there, but I do find it odd. Never mind, I had the character pulled up in the immediate next tab. Obviously, as of currently, when I record this video, we still do not have any renders for the Heisei iteration of Godzilla. That will be a joyous day, I am sure, but presently, the Heisei Godzilla Monster Manual has remained pretty much untouched since I originally covered Heisei Godzilla, and I just find it really odd now, as I did then, even if I did not say it, that Heisei Godzilla has a Pipeworks alternate, but does not individually have a Destroy All Monsters Melee alternate, nor a Godzilla Save the Earth vanilla alternate. I theorized in a video a long time ago that my personal theory is that NastySoft did not intend for there to be 4 total pages per monster in the monster manual at first, and so they just combined the 2 past game versions of Godzilla 90s into a single slot here, but that is only speculation on my part. I have no sources nor evidence to back any of those statements up.
Nice arguments. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the f*** up.
I just now thought about this, but technically they could add the Godzilla Unleashed version of Godzilla 90s as a skin for Heisei Godzilla in addition to Ghidorah from Godzilla Island or any of the Pokemon-based recolors that I have mentioned in previous coverage of potential skins for this project. As a result, I will not personally be very surprised if and when they add a 4th page to the Heisei Godzilla Monster Manual. However, I will also say that I find it far more likely that we will see an updated model / texture set, or well, I guess technically the first of those things for this project for Heisei Godzilla first, but I just wanted to point that out because the Pipeworks version of Heisei Godzilla confounds me, in a sense. One could also say that
This vexes me.
now, King Ghidorah does not have an updated render image yet, nor is most of the King Ghidorah manual changed as of the time of recording this video, but I do wish to call attention to the fact that bipedal Ghidorah has gotten an updated image / render as seen here, and as I have said in the past, it would probably behoove anyone interested in this project to follow the Twitter account at Godzilla STE, as that is the quote-unquote official Godzilla Save the Earth Melee Twitter account. It does also appear as if the 4th page of King Ghidorah's monster manual has been fixed, as before all of the empty slots on this 4th page alongside black and white Kaiser Ghidorah were basically just copy-pasted from this 1st page, 3rd page technically, but it is noteworthy nonetheless that bipedal Ghidorah has a render now. I'll keep it short and sweet. For those of you who are, as of now, unaware, we cannot get 4-legged Kaiser Ghidorah nor 4-legged Ghidorah in this mod due to the limitations based on animations and limbs, so that is why that is that way. Technically, the Destoroyah monster manual has not added anything, but it is worth noting that contrary to the original monster manual video that I did for Destoroyah, the World Eater recolor does not mention mention the Black Dragon Alduin anymore, which I believe is a dragon within Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Regardless, it is no longer in the Destoroyah monster manual, so I just wanted to point that out. Have not put this into video form explicitly thus far, but though this is not an update contemporary to when I am recording this video, for anyone who is unaware, the manga skin for Super Mechagodzilla / Mechagodzilla 2 apparently was the winner of a contest of some sort. Not really much to say beyond I am glad that this is being included and it's really cool, but I wanted to put this into this video on the off chance that someone watches it that did not previously know about it. Okay, next up, I believe I covered this vaguely in a YouTube community tab post, but they have replaced the primary image for Showa Godzilla with the newly created 1968 Godzilla 3D model and texture. Nothing else has really changed as far as the Showa Godzilla monster manual is concerned, but I did want to point out that 1968 and 1962, as well as 1974, all have their current models and textures represented on the alternate appearances screen for Showa Godzilla. Much like with Heisei Godzilla, I will not be surprised if the Showa Godzilla appearances slate gets expanded to include a 4th page in the future. As you can see, at the present moment, it only has 3 pages, and a good number of the alternate appearances do not have models or textures, but like I said, I will not be surprised if that happens. Attendant to the 1968 Godzilla getting a new model and texture set, they have updated the primary image for the Showa / 1968 version of Anguirus. Again, I posted about this on my community tab, and you can even see in that northernmost image on this screen that they have this version of Anguirus working to some degree in the Godzilla Save the Earth Melee demo as it stands in the hands of the developers. But this has also come with new icons / renders for many of the alternate recolors / alternate appearances that are slated for this version of Anguirus. Personally, I believe that the NES Monster of Monsters Hut Sprite recolor as well as the Dorian recolor look excellent. If I'm not mistaken, Golden Fire seems to have replaced a black and red recolor for Anguirus based off of a toy. Obviously, the Arctic recolor for 1968 Anguirus still uses the image of the toy which will inspire it, but Golden Fire appears to have completely replaced the black and red skin that originally adorned this monster manual. GMK 2004 and Double Smash still have their kind of generic stock images. I do not know how far along development of this version of Anguirus is according to the timeline of the Nasty Soft developers, but this does not particularly surprise me. However, one thing that I wish to note, Save the Earth Classic is an alternate appearance for this version of Anguirus, but this monster manual is distinct in that they appear to have created a unique / new render for the Save the Earth rendition of Anguirus, whereas if you look at any of the other monster manuals, most of them just use the physical manual included with Godzilla Save the Earth render for any given character from the vanilla Godzilla Save the Earth. So the fact that 1968 Anguirus Anguirus, of all characters, not only has the classic Save the Earth model included in its slate of choosable skins, but it also has a unique render in the monster manual for that skin is quite confounding. It is also rather confusing that we have the Save the Earth classic model, but we do not have the Destroy All Monsters Melee classic model for this version of Anguirus. As I have postulated before, my guess is that it is not included due to lacking a degree of substantial difference from the Save the Earth classic model, but I'm just bringing it up because I have obviously had time to think about it. Nothing really to see here, but I just wanted to point out that nothing has changed in the Varan monster manual, particularly the fact that there is no new lore for Varan particular to Godzilla Save the Earth Melee at this point. I did do an entire video based on my kind of reading of the timeline of Godzilla Save the Earth Melee at the time I recorded that video. I do not think that Varan would change it very much, but it is worth noting nonetheless that as of March 24th, 2025, Varan still does not have a bio to add to any of the lore. MOGUERA has a new primary image in the form of a render of the Heisei MOGUERA flying through an asteroid field. Other than that, I do not believe there is anything else to note in regards to changes to this particular monster manual, but he does have a pretty new image. And finally, we turn to the Zilla monster manual, and Zilla is, as of the time of recording this video, the newest quote-unquote addition to the game. Not much has really changed since the last time I covered Zilla on this channel, but it is worth noting that Zilla now has a baby Zilla alternate appearance, which the manual describes as a model based on the newborns from Godzilla 1998. In truth, this is probably a good idea. Until I saw it, I did not realize, but yeah, I guess technically the baby Zillas do look a little bit different from the fully grown regular Zilla slash the fully grown Godzilla Jr. as seen in Godzilla the series. It is still worth noting that none of the versions of Zilla have a rage move listed yet, despite the fact that a certain someone did talk about what you could do for a Zilla rage move in a previous video. But yeah, overall, the monster manual has changed quite a bit. Oh, I didn't even mention this. Tells you how much it stuck in my headspace. But Orga now has his updated new model included in the monster manual. The primary image as well as the image at the top of this first page both reflect the updated and, in my personal opinion, much improved Save the Earth Melee model for Orga. Other than that, there is one other major change. There is technically the minor change that the Bandai blue face recolor now has an updated render based on the updated model, but they have also added a Rulers of Earth alternate skin for Orga based on his appearance in the comic of the same name. He only looks a little bit darker. In total truth, I do not remember much about how he looked in that comic in particular and in specific, but considering that they added a Rulers of Earth skin to 1998 Godzilla slash Zilla, as seen here, this does not surprise me. It's about all I have in the tank for you guys for this video. Maybe not a whole lot has changed, but like I said, I like documenting the changes in the Godzilla Save the Earth Melee monster manual. The lion's share of the changes that I have documented in this video have not been announced through the Godzilla Save the Earth Melee official Twitter slash official X account. So even though I said to follow that, that does not guarantee you will be made aware of these kinds of changes if they occur. And up until now, none of you have informed me of any of these changes. But if you so happen to stumble upon changes to the Godzilla Save the Earth Melee Monster Manual in your own time, please feel free to let it be known in the comment section for any number of my videos. Remember, I am Verboten from the Nasty Soft Godzilla Save the Earth Melee official Discord, and when version 0.1.5 of the demo came out, I had to wiggle my own way into acquiring the download link for that demo. So if you are not
It's incredibly gay.
on the bad side of any of the devs, help me out, please. Make my life a little bit easier. Anyways, that's about all the time I have for today. I don't know when this video is coming out. All I know is that my birthday video is coming out on April 9th, 2025, my birthday. But aside from that, all I have left to say is leave a like, drop a comment down in the comment section below informing me of any of the changes that I have missed to Godzilla Save the Earth Melee's Monster Manual. Subscribe if you want me to have the faintest hope of continuing to do this, as like I said, I feel like my life is dissolving around me. If you want to support me financially in any way to kind of lessen that stress, please consider checking out my merchandise store, Mount Merch, which I will probably link in the pinned comment for this video, and almost assuredly will include a link to in the description for this video. Aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please take it easy, and I will catch you on the flip side.